Hey guys, welcome back to another Diecast Radiator Studios review. And today, obviously, is going to be a very nostalgic one for for all of us Cars collectors or Cars fans, of course. Because today we'll be reviewing the tuners. Yeah, I never reviewed the tuners back in the day, back like when I first started this channel. I was thinking about doing it, but I just never got around to doing it until just now because obviously it's a great time because obviously Cars' 20th anniversary, and obviously these guys are probably some of the most popular characters from the first movie and from the entire franchise in general. And yeah, Mattel has just kind of ignored these guys and kind of threw them off to the wayside pretty recently, except for probably like 2024. But besides that, they have kind of just ignored them, which is sad. But at least today we're going to be acknowledging these guys and giving them their flowers because obviously, it's been 20 years since we first got introduced to them, which is insane to think about. But anyway, let's just get onto the review or into the analysis and software before we get onto the actual review. But yeah, these guys obviously appeared in the highway scene when obviously Mac is falling asleep while transporting McQueen, and then obviously they appear and cause havoc on the freeway, and then obviously they end up screwing around with Mac. End up obviously DJ ends up playing music to try to make Mac fall asleep, and then obviously they just mess him around, and then obviously it causes McQueen to fall off of the trailer, and then obviously the events of the movie eventually end up happening, and I think because of the tuners is probably the reason why McQueen one of the reasons that's McQueen ended up at Radiator Springs and eventually ends up changing his character. So you could kind of thank the tuners a little bit for kind of helping McQueen, actually learn the ways in life and that everything's not to be the fame and fortune. But yeah, but obviously these guys not only appeared in the first movie, they appeared in some of the shorts, and yeah, we haven't seen them in any of the other movies, and we haven't seen them in a long time. So I hope we see them again eventually, but it probably won't be for a while. Maybe never. Who knows? But anyways, let's just talk about these guys because holy shit, they have been released so many times over the years, ever since 2006 when the Cars line was first produced. They were obviously one of the first characters to be released into the main line, and obviously these guys were released as singles. These two were actually included in a two pack, which is kind of interesting. Why they just didn't release them as singles, like all of them, but I mean, it makes sense. And then they've been released in multi packs, singles, two packs, 11 packs, and so forth. And obviously, anything you can think of, you could probably get them. And obviously, that's why I think every single collector should have these guys by now, anyways, because they've been around for more than 20 years. But yeah, I think their last release as their regular releases was in I think in like 2016 for all of them, and then some of them were released kind of randomly. Oh wait, no, it was actually 2020. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, might have been sometime, but who knows? This it's so hard to keep up with these guys' releases, but yeah. But anyways, let's just get on with the review. So let me try to review from my least favorite tuner to my favorite one. So, it's kind of hard because I really do like these. You know what? I know there are gonna be some fans that are kind of going to be mixed on it, but yeah, Boost is kind of my. I want to say. I mean, I do like him, but he's just his color scheme isn't as iconic as isn't as vibrant as the other ones as the other members. But anyways, let's just get on with the review. So obviously, this is a 2007 release, and it is seen better days. It's been beat up to hell, but yeah, yeah, he just has his ordinary expression, and obviously he does have raised eyes because this is an original. This is one of the original ones from back in the day. Obviously, a regular is expression to yeah, yeah. Obviously, you got carbon fiber hood. Shit. And then obviously, yeah, they got pretty beating up the wheels. yeah, they don't really roll as much anymore. I don't have a replacement because I was never able to get one, but I do have boost with flames. So I mean that's a plus. Obviously you got obviously there should be like a red trim or a purple trim, but unfortunately it has faded over time. Obviously you got boost. You got obviously there's nothing on the roof, and yeah, same thing on the other side. And then you got 3 Cola bottles, which is insane. But I mean, this was during the time when tuner culture was really peaking at this point, and you know there were these characters are obviously parodies of like trying to parody the Fast and the Furious, like the early movies. Obviously, his license plate says Boost. Yeah, this is just yeah, and then obviously this one was produced in the 333rd day of 2006. So yeah, this was probably like this was a 2007 release, but yeah, but obviously these guys are like parodying like aspects of the first 3 Fast and Furious movies, which I do really like. So the next one we'll go with is let's go with DJ. Honestly, he's like number 3 on my list. Obviously, DJ obviously has his classic expression. This is the Thailand version. I don't have an original one. But obviously, yeah, there's nothing on the hood except for like the designs on the sides, which you kind of consider like lightning bolts a little bit, but not really. Obviously, on the sides, you obviously have the green. Yeah, these parts obviously are like the amplifiers, I believe so. I think that's what you call them. I don't remember what they're called. Obviously, you got the speakers and so forth. Obviously, it's painted green. Actually, obviously, of course, the original release was inaccurate because they actually painted this thing blue, but they didn't fix it on the regular DJ until like 2010, which is insane. Obviously, there's more speakers. Yeah, you got the I think like to change like the song and so forth, and then more speakers, and then you got the exhaust pipes. And yeah, actually, let me try to compare my DJ in comparison to Impound DJ. Yep, this one obviously was only released in 2009 as a chase, so obviously it's never supposed to come out again. But I already know that we'll probably see this guy pretty soon in the main line because they're starting to release chases just randomly for no reason and super chases. But yeah, but obviously it's just a regular DJ just with the impound boot, so not really anything interesting. So let's just get on with Wingo. He's my second favorite because obviously he's based off of like a 2G Eclipse, I believe so. And I do really like his design, yeah. So obviously, yeah, this guy is pretty beaten up. This is a 2007 release, I believe so. Yep, this is a 2007 one. Obviously, yeah, you got the tribal design, I believe so. And then you got Japanese characters, which obviously I don't know how to read Japanese. And then these pretty cool wheels. I do really like the wheels. I always like the wheels on Wingo. And then, yeah, same thing on the other side. And then, obviously, there should be more graphics on the spoiler. But for some reason, Mattel has never actually attempted to do that. Which is pretty sad because, obviously, it makes this Wingo more inaccurate to the film. Obviously, his license plate says Wingo. Actually, does DJ even have one? I believe he does. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't actually have a license plate. Oh, shoot. Damn, then what the hell? What is he... Damn, he's about to get pulled over for not having a license plate, huh? On the back, or even in the front either. Obviously, you got the his exhaust pipe, and then there's obviously the massive wing, which obviously McQueen makes fun of, like, oh, you're gonna dice and slice me with your big spoiler in the Cars video game. That was actually a pretty funny line from McQueen. If you have played the first Cars video game, I definitely recommend it. Obviously, the 241st day of 2006. And then my favorite out of all of them is Snot. Obviously, this guy, oh my gosh, he keeps on sneezing because obviously of the buzz catcher supercharger that he has. The buzz catcher, and then you have the supercharger. Yeah, that thing's just sticking out like a sore thumb. Obviously, on here, it should say Snot Rod, but obviously, you can kind of see it, but this is the Thailand version, which I do kind of like. I actually do like it. Obviously, yeah, this expression is different to the original one, kind of, and then the blower is actually painted differently in the original release. The original releases are actually more realistic in comparison to this one. But I mean, this one suits for the meantime. Obviously, you got Snot Rod, you got a kind of a classic muscle car look. Yeah, obviously, this is based off like a Dodge Challenger or Charger or like a Camaro, but it's kind of like a more of a Dodge Charger or Challenger. And obviously, you got the big slicks. Holy shoots! Now I got some big slicks. I don't know how the hell he's driving this on the freeway, because yeah, that's pretty dangerous for sure. Especially that big slicks. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. Obviously, you got Snot Rod and yeah, license plate Snot Rod. Actually, there is another version of this one. I think it's on the original that he should have a blue license plate, but I believe they changed it eventually. And then yeah, I got the SR standing for Snot Rod. And obviously made in Thailand, the 45th week of, I think, like 2019, I believe so. I'm not sure. I haven't kept up with like Thailand, was it their number? Since we're going back to China, what's the point of it now? But anyways, yep, that's pretty much it for all the tuners. And actually, I forgot to mention one release. Yeah, this one's kind of forgotten nowadays, but this is of the Speeding Through Radiator Springs 4-pack that was exclusively to Target, I believe so. And yeah, you have the Cars logo, and then you have the Walk in the Radiator Springs. Yeah, this was part of the Walk in the Radiator Springs line, but yeah, this one, no one really talks about this one anymore. Probably because obviously there's no new versions of them, and then the only thing that's new is this accessory. But I mean, what's kind of the point? You're basically wasting. I think this was probably like $15, or maybe it might have been a little bit more back in 2021. But I've kept this sealed for like 5 years. Yeah, it's been 5 years since this pack came out, but obviously I'm still gonna keep this in the package. What's the point of even having this one if having it loose, if it's just not gonna include any new characters, but it just includes Vietnam versions of these. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys all for watching. I do really appreciate it. But yeah, just let me know what is your favorite tuner out of all of them. Is it any of these guys, or is it actually like, you know, some of the tuners that you actually see in the Cars Tune Tokyo Mater short? But obviously, in my opinion, Snot Rod is my favorite out of all of them. It's Snot Rod, and then you go with Wingo, and then DJ, and then of course Boost takes up the last place spot. But in general, I do love all of these guys. These are iconic characters. So yeah, but anyways, thank you guys all for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys for another review. I don't know what the next review will be. It'll probably be a mysterious one. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. See you guys. Bye.